Hey folks, if you're like me, you've seen a lot of seeming fanboys rave about the Sire Marcus Miller basses. The Sire V7, V7 Vintage is a new model. They're inexpensive basses. Supposedly, Marcus Miller had his stamp on them, like they're his personalized bass. Obviously, he's still playing his Fenders live and some others, so don't think so. There's a marketing and money aspect to this. However, are they good basses? Well, I bought one. It was advertised as used. I bought it online. However, it was advertised as used mint. It had a sticker, or a hang tag on it in a music store. Apparently, it was advertised as new. It looks like new. However, the store said they set it up. So some aspects of things like fretwork and whatnot might be better than out of the box. I honestly don't know. So let's start with the gig bag it comes with. So it comes with a pretty nice gig bag. Now you can see at least somewhat substantial. It's got some rigid foam there. You've got your typical pockets, which even junk bags have. But what is nice is inside you've got this lovely Velcro neck pocket in here and a block in here, which is removable apparently. I just found that out. So you can have it or not, but you can protect the neck. And great thing, keeps stuff from shifting around. In a bag like this, your bass is going to shift without something like this. This isn't the best gig bag you'll ever find, but it's certainly not the worst. And is it going to be better than a Fender gig bag? Absolutely it is. You can see it's plenty rigid. All right, so you really don't care about that. I know. What you care about, excuse me, is this. So this is a Sire V7. In this case, we have a natural finish over ash maple fretboard. So these are obviously marketed as a great price point jazz bass. It's in direct competition with a Mexican, made in Mexico Fender standard model, and many other basses too. Price points are in the low 400s to mid 5s, depending on what you order, 4-string, 5-string, finish options, etc. However, the basic configurations don't change over that. So again, this is the original V7 model, which strangely stood for vintage because they also have an M7 for modern. Now they have a V7 vintage model that has slightly different specs. So this, it's gorgeous. One of the things you're going to wonder, fit and finish is always of concern when you have an inexpensively made instrument. So in this case, this is made in Indonesia. Generally speaking, when you look at the lower rungs of how most people perceive instruments quality to be, it goes something like China, Indonesia, Mexico, Japan, U.S., and Canada goes in there somewhere. And then, of course, there are things like Germany is up there with the U.S., Warwick bases, obviously. Obviously the quality of a single person's output, you couldn't measure by where they are and everything else. The way those standards are set are factories. So there aren't 1,000 guitar factories in Indonesia or in Japan or anywhere else. So in these companies where guitars are outsourced to, they're very large places. You always hear Matsumoto or whatever in Japan, etc. And what it is there's a gigantic factory or collection of factories in one location, and generally their work output per the dollar you put in is somewhat measurable. So you know that stuff that comes out of there is going to be similar. Anyhow, this is really well made. So one of the first things I'm going to show you here, I don't know that the camera can see it, but this is a two-piece body. So when you think cheap, you don't think two-piece body. You think a multi-piece body. And again, this is ash. This one's not too heavy, but don't be misled. This is not mythical swamp ash. This is Louisville Slugger ash. This I perceive to be a little bit lighter than my original Japanese-made Fender Geddy Lee. So it's not bad. I could play this thing all night and it wouldn't be bad. When I take this off, I don't go, thank God that's done. So that's good. As far as what you got two jazz bass pickups with, I've seen them advertised as US made, and I looked again on the website. they have some US made components. Apparently the bobbins and the wire is US, and that's all they say. So they don't even say the magnets are US. They certainly don't say that they're made in the United States. So I think that's a myth. You have what they call a high mass bridge. I'm going to bring this up a little bit closer so hopefully you can see it, and then go from the side view, and maybe this view is better. So it is nowhere near as big as your benchmark for high mass bridges is going to be a badass bridge. And for those who don't know, that's a company, that's a product, that's not what I'm saying. What you do see, however, it is thicker than certainly a vintage style bridge, but the where the strings go here, the saddles are gigantic compared to almost any bridge you've ever seen before. Again, I don't know. I don't have a view of my camera. It probably looks like crap. So you got that style bridge. It is both string through the back and then string through as well. So you have choices. I don't know that I have a preference really. I've been playing forever, but I really haven't paid attention. So you have your choices there. I got a really nice pearloid pick guard. And a really good feature here is, your truss rod is accessible right here at the neck. So there's no plate to lose. There's no screws to take off. There's no screws that inevitably someone is going to strip the head on the screws. I don't know why that is. So we've got a maple neck, nice inlays. I'm going to tell you this. So I have a Fender Highway 1 Jazz Bass that I don't think's ever been set up. And the quality of the feel of the fretwork at the ends and the look is better on this. Again, I just got this thing. I am not a fanboy. I am not selling this to you. So now again, someone has touched this before I got it and they said they set it up. I don't really know what they've done. It plays pretty well. It's not as low as I would like, but it plays pretty darn well. So it is a maple neck. The wood is a little whiter, which there's plenty of kind of white looking maple. I usually equate that to a cheap guitar bass. I don't know that that's true or not, but everything you always look at is, a lot of it, it's just got a tinted lacquer on it. I don't know what it looks like underneath. But when I see white like that, I kind of go, I don't know. So we got 4 Fender style tuners. They work, and seem to stay in tune. I haven't had it that long. I can't really speak to that. But they feel good. Interestingly, jack location. I think this is partially because this crazy preamp. I mean, there's like knobs and knobs and knobs. But this jack location is good. Having the jack out the front, it sucks, honestly. And then they didn't put a barrel jack in it. I hate barrel jacks because when they fail, you can't fix them without replacing them. So you got a standard style jack here. So beautiful pearloid pick guard. Something you'll never see in this light. I'm going to bring it, and if you see it, I'm going to be shocked. But there's binding on the neck. So that's interesting. On this model, the binding is very light, so I don't know if you can really see that. So now, obviously, looking back here, we have an 18-volt preamp, 2 9-volts. One of the things that's really cool, this works really well, but inside, you've got the clips that have the wires on them. So you take this out, you put it in. I don't know why they didn't make the time that have the contacts in there, because if you're not careful, taking the battery out, if it fits in real well, over time, you do a few batteries, you could pull on those wires and cause some sort of problem. So that's a small detractor. Let's talk about the preamp here. So they fit it all on a plate. That's good. But dear Lord, there's a lot of knobs here, and it makes things a bit confusing. But I'll show you what we've got. So we got master volume, and thankfully at least they put that on top of the stack pot. There's a master tone here. Now what's interesting is the master tone, it's a regular passive tone pot, but it works when the active pickups are engaged. So basically you can tone down your active sound without having to adjust a couple of knobs, because it kind of tones down both the bass and the treble and the mids all in one sweep. So that's kind of neat. I don't really think that it's not an innovation here. I'm sure someone else has done it, but I've seen it in the Carbon SB4000. They have a very similar preamp. So there you go, master volume, master tone. And then this is very good. You have a pickup blend with a center detent. And it's awesome. You know, if you want to switch pickups on a Jazz and you're sitting there going one knob up, one knob down, that kind of sucks. But you can just do it in one swoop, and they feel nice. So the pot feels nice. So next we have treble. Again, center to tent. This only works in active mode. We have a sweepable mid and your actual mid amount. So here we have the frequency of the mid range on the bottom, and then on the top you have the amount of mid boost or cut. So you really have a lot of options. And both of these have a center to tent. And then finally you've got your bass, which again, passive mode only, or active mode only. And it does have a center to tent, and I say that's all, it's not all. So you have an active passive switch. I'm going to tell you, down here, this thing is hard to get to. Now maybe they did that on purpose to say, well, at least you're not going to bump it by accident. But they put it all the way down here. Had they put it here where there's more meat in the plate, there's more room, it would have been better. And right now, I feel like I need to loosen the nut and reorient this because I have problems finding it. It's on some weird sort of angle. I kind of would prefer up, down, or possibly left, right, you know, just straight. So overall, you know, what you wonder about is when you're making an inexpensive bass, you've got to cut corners somewhere. So I've been looking to kind of see where that is, and it's kind of hard to tell from, you know, a look and feel perspective. And honestly, when I fire this up, you're going to see it sounds great too. So something I expect, or excuse me, suspect, is that maybe they're using some cheap pots under here. So I'm not going to do it on camera, but I will take this off. I will take a picture of this, and I will post it, I don't know, there, somewhere, right here. And you're going to see, we'll answer that question. Did they use inexpensive pots? Usually cheap pots are the size of a dime or a nickel. The quality, you know, CTS or equivalent is generally going to be around the size of a quarter in diameter. All right, so there you have it. You know, if you saw this somewhere and didn't have kind of the wacky looking headstock, I mean, I'm going to be honest, Fender is stuck in my head, although I've got a PV over to my left and some other things. That I'm not a large headstock fan, not even a large Fender, you know, the 70s thing, you know, the thing that this thing was modeled after, sort of. So the headstock kind of throws me off a bit. There is one other thing. I didn't read up. This is not a jazz bass neck. That was a little bit of a disappointment. There's no way that Marcus is playing the big, thick, chunky neck. Now, this is not a P bass neck either. It's its own thing. Up front here, it's narrow but chunky. Kind of feels like a Warwick neck, honestly. And it gets a little bigger through here. I don't know. I would almost call this, I don't know if this is a hard C shape. Exactly what we would call this, but it is different. It is not a jazz bass neck, and I own a Getty as well, which is a thin jazz bass neck. So first time I grabbed it, I was a little disappointed there. I was hoping for the uber thin neck. However, I played many things that are a lot worse. If you play any sort of 5-string, this probably feels, on a 4-string note, it probably feels a little better. Anyhow, enough talk. So I'm going to stop the camera here for a second. I will go into fire up the amp, and we'll check out passive mode first. And so comparing it to, you know, any jazz bass that's out there that's passive, and you're going to see what it sounds like.